Before I express those moments, haven't we? When communication with our kids just breaks down. Maybe it's a simple question that gets a one word answer, or a simmering disagreement that explodes into an argument. Or maybe it's that feeling of talking at your child rather than with them. It's like you're speaking different languages and the message just isn't getting through. It's frustrating, it's isolating, and can leave you feeling completely disconnected. But here's the truth: strong communication is the absolute heart of any healthy relationship, especially the one you have with your child. It's the foundation of trust or understanding and that deep connection we all crave. It's how we guide them, teach them, and help them navigate this crazy world. It's not magic and it's definitely not always easy, but it is a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned and improved with practice. In this lesson, we are going to equip you with some practical, real world strategies you can use right now to communicate more effectively with your child. We will explore active listening, expressing empathy without being a pushover, using I statements to express your needs, handling those inevitable difficult conversations, and creating a home where everyone feels safe to share what's truly on their minds. We'll even touch on that ever present challenge, sibling rivalry. Let's get started. Let's begin with active listening. This isn't about hearing the sounds your child makes. It's about fully understanding the message they are sending, the words and the feelings behind them. It's about being 100% present in that moment with your child. Think about it like this. Have you ever tried to talk to someone who was constantly checking their phone or looking over your shoulder or interrupting you? It doesn't feel great, does it? You don't feel heard. Active listening is the opposite. It's a gift you give to your child, the gift of your undivided attention. So, first, and this is crucial, put down your phone. Seriously. Turn off the TV, the radio, whatever might distract you. Make eye contact. That physical presence, that focused attention says you matter. What you have to say is important to me. Second, listen without interrupting. Let your child finish their thoughts before you jump in with advice, solutions, or your own perspective. This can be incredibly hard, especially if you think you know what they are going to say, or if you are eager to fix the problem. But interrupting sends the message that you are not really following their perspective. And pay close attention to their body language. Are they fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, slumped over? Their non-verbal cues often reveal more than their words. A child who says I'm fine while staring at the floor and picking at their fingernails is probably not fine. Once they finish speaking, reflect back what you've heard. This shows them you are truly listening and trying to understand. Use phrases like, so it sounds like you are saying, or if I understand correctly, you are feeling, or what I hear you saying is. Don't just repeat their words, try to capture the essence of what they are saying. And then ask clarifying questions, not to greet them, but to encourage them to share more and to ensure you have understood correctly. Open-ended questions are best. Questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. Things like, can you tell me more about that? What happened next? How did that make you feel? What do you mean by? Can you give me an example? It's about being curious and genuinely interested in their experience. Let's imagine a scenario. Your child comes home from school and throws their backpack down, muttering, school was awful today. A non-active listening response might be, well, did you get your math test back? You are focused on something else entirely. Or, don't be so dramatic. It couldn't have been that bad. You are dismissing their feelings. An active listening response would be, whoa, you seem really upset. What happened? You are making eye contact, acknowledging their emotions, and inviting them to share. Then you might reflect back. So it sounds like something happened at school that really bothered you. Is that right? And then you might ask, do you want to talk about it? See the difference? You are creating a safe space for them to open up. But active listening can be challenging. We get distracted, our minds wander. We start thinking about what we are going to say next. We want to jump in with solutions or advice before they are even finished explaining the problem. We might even find ourselves judging their feelings. The key is to practice, to become more aware of your listening habits, and to make a conscious effort to be more present and engaged. It's a skill that's improved with time and intention. Now, closely linked to active listening is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's about stepping into their shoes, seeing the world from their perspective, and acknowledging their emotions, even if you don't necessarily agree with their behavior or the intensity of their reaction. It's not about saying you shouldn't feel that way. It's not about saying you're overreacting. It's not about saying it's not a big deal. Those are invalidating statements. They shut down communication and make your child feel like their feelings aren't valid or important. Instead, empathy sounds like, that sounds really frustrating. I can see why you'd be so upset about forgetting your lines in the play. It makes sense that you feel embarrassed after spending your lunch in the cafeteria. That would be hard for anyone. I can only imagine how lonely you must feel when you are left out of games. That's really tough. It sounds like you are feeling really overwhelmed by all the homework you have. I get that. It's a lot to handle. You are not necessarily agreeing with their response, but you are acknowledging and validating their feelings. You are letting them know that their emotions are real and that it's okay to feel them. And if you genuinely don't understand, ask. You can say, help me understand. I want to know why you feel that way. That simple invitation can open up a whole new level of connection. Next, let's talk about I statements. This is simple yet incredibly powerful communication tool that help you express your feelings and needs in a way that's respectful and non-blaming. It's about taking ownership of your own emotions rather than accusing or criticizing your child. The basic structure is this. So instead of saying you always leave your dirty clothes on the floor, you are so inconsiderate, which is a use statement and almost guaranteed to trigger divisiveness. You will say, I feel frustrated when I see dirty clothes on the floor because it makes the house feel messy and I have to spend extra time cleaning it up. The I statement focuses on your experience, your feelings, and your needs. It's not about blaming or shaming your child. It's about expressing yourself in a clear and honest way. Here are some more examples. I feel worried when you don't text me when you are going to be late because I care about your safety and I need to know that you are okay. I feel happy when we have dinner together as a family because I love connecting with you and it's important to me that we share this time. I feel sad when you yell at me because it hurts my feelings and I want us to have a respectful relationship. It takes practice to get used to using I statements, but they can be incredibly effective in de escalating conflicts and promoting understanding. They help you communicate your needs without putting your child on the defensive. Now, there are times when communication gets really tough. I'm talking about those difficult conversations we all dread. Conversations about bodies, puberty, uncomfortable social situations, difficult word events, family challenges, things that can be awkward, confusing, or even scary. There's no single script for these conversations, but there are some guiding principles. First, let's be honest and age appropriate. Don't lie to your child or avoid the topic, but also don't overwhelm them with information they are not ready for. Use simple, concrete language they can grasp. Second, listen more than you talk. Create a safe space for your child to ask questions, share their thoughts, and express their feelings. Don't interrupt, don't judge, and don't dismiss their concerns. And it's perfectly okay to say, I don't know. Let's find out together. You don't have to have all the answers. Don't be afraid to show your own emotions, appropriately, of course. It's okay for your child to see you sad or worried, as long as you're also modeling healthy ways of coping. Be mindful of your own biases and values. Try to present information in a neutral way and allow your child to form their own opinions. And finally, keep the conversation going. Don't treat this difficult topic as one time talks. Check in with your child regularly and be open to answering their questions as they arise. Let's imagine a couple of scenarios. Your child comes home from school and says, my friend said there's a war happening far away. Are we going to be okay? Instead of brushing it off, you could say, yes, there's a conflict happening in another part of the world. It's a very sad and difficult situation. It's understandable to feel worried when we hear about things like that. But right now, we are safe here. Do you have any other questions about it? Then listen to their concerns and answer them honestly, providing reassurance and age appropriate information. Or your child might ask a direct question about their changing body. Why am I starting to grow here in new places? You can answer directly and calmly. That's called puberty. It means your body is starting to grow and change into an adult's body. It's completely normal. Do you have any other questions about it? The key is to be open, honest, and supportive. To create a safe space for your child to explore these difficult topics and to process their feelings. Now, all of these communication skills contribute to something bigger, creating a family culture of open communication. This means making open and honest communication the norm in your home, not just something that happens when there is a problem. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels safe, respected, and heard, where children feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings, their joys and their fears without fear of judgment or punishment. How do you build this kind of culture? It starts with regular family check ins. This could be a few minutes at dinner time where everyone shares the high and low of their day. It could be a bedtime routine. It could be a dedicated time each week. Ask open ended questions that encourage conversations, not just how was your day. We usually get a one word answer, but things like what was the best thing that happened to you today? What was the most challenging thing you faced today? Is there anything you want to talk about? How are you feeling right now? And practice active listening. Put down your phone, make eye contact, and really listen. Reflect back what you hear, ask clarified questions, and show your child that you value their perspective. Create a no judgment zone. This means avoiding criticizing, lecturing, interrupting, or dismissing your child's feeling or thoughts, even if you disagree with them. Respect your child's privacy unless there's a serious safety concern. Let them know that you trust them, but also explain that if you're ever worried about their safety, you might need to step in. That's your job as a parent. Be available, make time for your child, even when you are busy. Even 15 minutes of undivided attention can make a huge difference. And model open communication yourself. Share your own thoughts and feelings, age appropriately, of course. Show them that it's okay to be vulnerable and to ask for help. You can even hold regular family meetings. Finally, let's touch on that common battleground, sibling rivalry. The bickering, the tattling, the competition. It's a classic part of family life. Sibling rivalry is normal, but it can also be incredibly draining. Often it boils down to competition for parental attention, perceived unfairness, different developmental stages, personality clashes, or even just boredom. So, what can we do? First, focus on each child individual needs. What is each child really trying to get or achieve through the conflict? Are they seeking attention, control, justice? Once you understand the underlying needs, you can address them more effectively. Second, teach them conflict resolution skills. Encourage your children to use the I statement. Help them practice active listening, really hearing each other, and guide them to brainstorm solutions together rather than you imposing a solution. Third, promote cooperation. Create opportunities for your siblings to work together towards a common goal. Maybe they can build something together or play a game that requires teamwork. Fourth, avoid comparisons. Don't label your children. Treat each child as a unique individual. Fifth, and this is crucial, ensure that each child gets individual, undivided attention from you regularly. Even short bursts of focused attention can make a huge difference in reducing feelings of competition and jealousy. Sixth, establish ground rules and be consistent. And sometimes the best approach is simply to separate the children before things escalate. Give them time to cool down and then address the situation when they are calmer. And do not take sides. Let's look at a quick example. Two siblings are fighting over a toy. Instead of yelling, share, be nice, which rarely works long time. You could try this. I see two children and only one toy. That's a problem. What are some things you could do to solve this? Then guide them. Could you take turns? Could you set a timer? Could you find another toy to play with? Or one child is constantly tattooing. Instead of dismissing it, you could say, I understand you are upset, but I want you to try talking to your sister directly about it. Use your I statement. Tell her how her actions made you feel. You are teaching them to communicate and solve their own issues. So, to wrap up, Remember that good communication is the foundation of strong family relationships. It's about active listening, expressing empathy, using I statements, navigating difficult conversations, creating a culture of open communication, and managing sibling rivalry. And finally, take a moment to reflect. What is one thing you can do this week to improve communication with your child? Maybe it's putting down your phone more often. Maybe it's having a dedicated one on one conversation. Maybe it's simply taking a deep breath and really listening.